Thanks for joining.
I'm Reese.
I'm Joe. You're listening to Polybynature,
the podcast where you can have your cake and eat it too. Welcome back to another episode of Polybynature. We are always looking to improve our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Always looking for ways, little things that we can do to make connecting and being around each other a little easier.
Correct.
So a few days ago, I asked you to write me some things down that would benefit me to know about you,
Mm-hmm.
or benefit any partner to know about you, and kind of write it almost like you were writing an instruction manual for you. So what did you think about that?
I kind of went into the idea that we were writing something like an owner's manual of how to keep me alive. Like if it's like a car manual, you get the idea of here's how to maintain your car, or here's how to maintain. So I was thinking of it more like maintenance and things that you should know about me throughout my life.
Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah.
It's more so what you need. What you need to feel loved, what you need to feel appreciated, respected, seen, heard, all those things. Things that you like, your tendencies, your habits, anything that would make it.
Probably anything that just will make it easier to be my partner.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I got the idea for this because the other day you were getting dressed and you asked me for a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
And the most awkward time for me to give you a compliment is when you ask for it.
Right. It's not me fishing for a compliment. I guess it's just me looking for validation of do I look good, or am I okay? What do you think kind of vibe?
I know you like compliments, but I never remember until you ask for it, which kind of defeats the purpose of asking for it.
Right. I don't think I need a compliment on taking out the trash. I don't need a compliment on me cooking food or something like that. Hey, you cooked a great meal. That doesn't what I'm asking for. For me, compliments is just, again, assurance to know you got eyes for me, and that I still pique your interest, and that there's still a ooh moment in there. And so when I ask for it, it's more just hey, I haven't heard in a while. Can I get that for the moment? Can I just get a little reassurance?
I asked you to write down some things, and I wrote down some things as well. We haven't really shared them. Mm-hmm. And it's going to serve, like we said, as a user manual.
Right.
Something that we can each use, kind of like a refresher reminder of our partner, the things that are most important to our partner, basically. Gotcha. I do want to get into those things and find out what you wrote.
Okay.
And I bought these little black books. These are the little books that we are actually going to use to put our lists in.
Yeah. And I'll probably let you help with writing so that you can actually read.
Yes, I will write yours down after we share them.
Fair. I got them all in my actual journal, so we can always transpose them from there to there once we're done.
Yes.
Because my handwriting is horrible.
We're going to write, I'm going to write mine and then give it to him. And he's going to write his and give it to me.
Right. Now, is there opportunity for this? This is for more growth in this book. I can say, hey, give me my book back. I want to add some things. I don't want it to be a final book.
No, you're not stuck with whatever you write down and you can never change it.
Things, and I'm oh man, I should have put 9 in there.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So the book is ever growing.
Yes. And I purposely bought small books because I don't want essays written in here. I want straight to the point. If I open this up, and, if I separate it into categories and I open the part where it says connection or something like that, and it says, give me a compliment, then I'm oh, shoot, have I given him a compliment in the past couple of days? Gotcha. Let me do that.
Okay. What? What about even this man just want a compliment? And he's
well, because that was the thing that sparked this in my head, because I hate that I forget that.
Well, let's get to the book.
Yes.
Let's get to the book.
So I broke mine up into categories. So I'm going to list a couple categories. And if you have any in the category that I mentioned,
okay,
then let me know.
Gotcha.
So one that's important is connection. So
I want to write a little bit down while we're talking, if that's all right.
Yeah. So Under connection in my book, I will have be gentle with me, treat me like I'm delicate.
Mhm.
I need love and attention most when I push it away. Create with me.
No, you're going to give me this in the book.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm like,
you don't have to write these
I'm trying to like memorize this stuff. I'm like, oh man.
No, they're going to be in my book that I'm going to give to you. Slow down and enjoy the moment. Be present with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important for me. You are a very task-oriented person.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're doing something, sometimes you're so focused on the end and so focused on completion, so focused on getting it done that it's like the whole purpose of doing it was just to be with you.
Right.
So, and then it's like, I take that person as like, he just don't want to spend time with me when it may have absolutely nothing to do with that.
Right.
You may just be trying to do
Complete
a job.
The task. Yeah.
Yeah. Remind me to play, be silly, laugh, be playful with me. Check on me. I crave attention. I'm not okay without it. I'm sorry. I say I crave attention. I do crave attention.
You do crave
but I did not
attention.
write attention.
You do. That's the universe.
That came out my mouth. Okay. Check on me. I crave connection.
Mm-hmm.
I am not okay without it. I want you to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Take control.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure whether to put that there or under sex.
Yeah, it works either way.
But
it can work in pretty much any category.
Maybe I should have it repeat under the sex category. And then again, enjoy the journey.
Gotcha.
So what do you have that may relate to connection?
So I think because we take things different ways and I'm more literal, I did not have the tabs of like connection or situation like that. But I do have for so many things I have, be kind to me. Greet me with a physical grounding. I don't know if I'm just like making a list of
physical touch.
Yeah. I just like it when I go outside and I come back after a long day, it's just, it's nice to be received warmly. I don't know if this is connection, but it says outside to me is war, especially for being a person of color. I just don't want war at home. Mm-hmm. So I want more peace and more connection. You mentioned leading. I have just allow me to actually truly lead. Teach me with love.
Mm. Okay.
There's oftentimes I crave the learning aspect of things. I know I often will say that you're the smartest person I know. So when I'm asking you questions or I'm leaning into you, I think it just ties back into just be kind and really just teach me with love. So that's my connection list. And there's probably more as it goes on.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I appreciate that. And thank you for the effort you put into that. Mm-hmm. Communication is next on my list. So mine says, I have something to say. I just take longer to respond. Giving me time to respond shows genuine interest. I enjoy your full attention. Eye contact and body language matters. Engage and ask questions to show interest in me and my projects. Listen to understand and learn about me. Let me talk and encourage me to keep going.
That's big.
Yeah.
I think I struggle with dead space sometimes.
You do.
We'll have a conversation and then you just stop talking. I'm just thinking, all right, it's been 2 minutes. What if you don't have something to say now? Then I guess I should say something.
And it doesn't take 2 minutes. It could be 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, she hasn't said anything, so let me go. Or you compound questions.
Yeah.
You be like, so how you feeling today? Did you see that thing right there? Hand me that. Did you like that color right there? And the first question, that how you feeling today, is like, yeah, he said it, but he didn't mean it. Mm-hmm. And he has no interest in hearing how I feel because he's not even going to go back to it.
Right. There's
you compound questions a lot.
I often believe because sometimes we'll have conversations and I do a lot of the talking, you do not as much. Not that I don't care. I'm just trying to get as much out of you as I can. So I'm like, okay, instead of asking one question and maybe getting a half an answer for 2 minutes, let me ask 3 questions and maybe I can get 2 minutes of conversation out of you.
It's not a good strategy.
I guess I'll change it.
I appreciate that. You got anything that aligns with communication?
I do have for communication, assure me and compliment me.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is communication, but I'll just put it in there. When I'm at the end of a stressful day, let me slowly come back to you.
So give you your space.
Yeah, I don't know that it's about space. It's just, I think if you can see a stressful moment on me, or if I've called you and complained 300 times in the past 2 hours about a long day or a stressful work day, to know that I'm trying not to bring it home, and to know that I do want to connect, but I may need a little time to connect and be able to communicate effectively.
Okay. You just need a decompressed time.
Yeah, 5 or 10, 20 minutes to get my mind right, you know?
Okay.
All right. So that's what I got for communication.
Let's do disagreements. I thought disagreements were important to add in here because sometimes we do struggle with disagreements. And
I think we struggle with how we disagree.
Because we're stubborn?
Yeah. Yeah. Because neither of us like the idea that we're wrong or that we're losing, or that I think when it comes to disagreements, we have just a difference of how to communicate. I think we also have a difference of how to accept that even winning an argument is not actually achieving anything. Like if you and I walk away and say, yeah, I was right. Well, if both of us aren't talking, then who's actually right at that point?
I included this because I feel like it could be solved, and it could be so simple, because I don't feel like I need to be right. I don't ever feel like I need to be right. It's the lack of acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. Like, I need to be acknowledged in a situation where I'm telling you that this is wrong, or I'm uncomfortable with this, or I didn't like that, to completely come back to me with an excuse or explanation. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So acknowledgement, I think, is the first thing on my disagreements. Acknowledge my experience or my point of view.
You want to be heard and seen during the moment.
I absolutely need that. Second one is I don't need excuses or an apology. Like I don't even require an apology 99% of the time. Like I'm not asking you to say that you were wrong.
No, you just want corrective action for what you think needs to be.
No, I just want acknowledgement.
Well, I mean, after acknowledgement, you want some type of corrective action.
Depending on what it is. Sometimes it's not a situation where something was done wrong, but maybe there was just a misunderstanding in our communication or our expectations.
I don't move with malice, just so we're on the same page.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
If I have bad intentions.
It doesn't matter. And just because you do not move with malice does not mean I do not feel what I feel, and I did not experience what I experienced. And I still deserve acknowledgement.
You do.
Thank you.
Is it my turn yet? Are you still going? Okay.
I'm still going.
Okay. So let me bite my tongue.
So acknowledge, no explanation, no excuses. Grounding is required. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is when we have a disagreement, it does damage. Even if it's a simple disagreement, there's some amount of damage done. So when we get over that disagreement and we're like, okay, we're good, that okay, we're good is not enough to get us back to where we were prior to that damage.
Right.
I need grounding. I need connection. I need physical touch. I need us cuddling on the couch. I need something. It'd be nice if it's physical, because that just, I don't know, there's comfort in there. Mm-hmm. And that feels really good. That was my next one. I need physical touch to reconnect. Excuse me. And makeup sex is always a good idea. And my last one is that I know I have anger issues.
Yeah. All right. So those are your.
That's what I need when it comes to our disagreements. So it's like if we're having a disagreement or we just had a disagreement and you're wondering, man, why isn't this resolved? You know, is there something that I missed? Oh, I got one more.
Okay, you go.
For disagreements. Okay. If we did not discuss it, it is not over. Issues do not dissolve. I got to write that one down because it's not even on my list. Issues do not disappear into thin air. And that is very important.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a very thorough list.
So from that, I took for your disagreements that you need acknowledgement, you need correction, and then you need connection.
Yes.
Are those,
yes.
Does that sound about right?
Yes.
I need to acknowledge the issue and make sure that you feel seen and heard. I need to make some type of corrective action for myself and for us to simply say, hey, I see you, I hear you, I understand what we're doing. So let's talk about it so that we can move forward. And then we need to connect at some point in there on a physical level that allows us to really reconnect and not just to be back where we're at, but to be better than where we were.
Yes.
I got you. Special thanks to the W Studios for this great podcasting space. If you're looking for a location for your next photo shoot, event, or podcast spot, check out thewstudios.com. Now back to our episode.
Do you have anything that aligns with disagreements? Wait, what happened? Oh, you do?
No, it's not bad. You know, I realized that the older I get, the less I want to have disagreements.
Yes.
And I know that they're important to help us grow. I know that disagreements bring us to a scenario of connection and correction. But I think that there's better ways to have these disagreements and have different conversations that say things like, I'm not feeling heard or I'm not feeling seen, that do not lead to elevated voices, that do not lead to knocking things over.
Okay, so that's not common.
It's not common, but it's enough that it has happened, at least with
like
elevated
once
voice.
In the past year.
Okay, but at least with elevated voice. When you got to realize when you're,
yes.
But let me get my point out for a moment. I respectfully let your disagreement list come out correctly, and I did not interrupt. So let me get it out.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So when we have disagreements, I need to be spoken to like I'm a man, and I need you to treat me like I'm your best friend, because we know that the outcome, we're still going to figure a way to be better together. But the longer it takes and the worse that it gets, the harder it is to recover. And it takes us longer to get back to just being okay. So I want to really get to a point where disagreements become conversations, and inevitably becomes little small tweaks, not big blowouts. Because oftentimes we have a big disagreement, and a week later I'm like, I don't even know what we were disagreeing about.
Of course you don't.
Because in my real world, it's like, it's not that it wasn't valid. It was just, man, it was such a waste of time to get to a point where we are fighting each other and missing each other. And I don't want to do that ever. Like I'm tired of wasting time with disagreements. I want to start actually making more time with us figuring ways to have agreements that just don't align with each other and correct them. And
you know what's going to help you do that?
Acknowledging. And then corrections.
I'm serious. It's always something missing. The acknowledgement is always missing, and you come full force with an excuse.
Okay. I got it right here. ACC.
Okay.
Acknowledgement, correction, and connection.
What do you have under sex?
Oof. So let me go. Let me start back at the first page. For sex, I have court me, acknowledge me, and be on me physically. Mm-hmm. I have love me and truly just want me. It's like, there's a time a couple of weeks ago, you were like, I really wanted to have sex with you, but I just didn't know if you would want it. Or I think it was late night too. And you're like, I just figured you're asleep, right?
You were asleep.
But like, I always want you. And so I want you to remember that, like, if this is my manual of like sex life, I always want you. You never will get a no from me. I think we had this crazy conversation about like how many times I've ever told you no, and I think you said it was like 3 times in 20 years. And okay, great. So that's a pretty low batting average when it comes to getting no. Also for sex, don't say no, just say not right now for me. And I've asked that in the past, and you were like, yeah, I can do that. And you've gotten way better at that. And it's like, and I get it. There's just times when I'm like, hey, you want to do something? And you're like, no. And for me, the no used to be very like, oh God, what did I do wrong? Versus like, you know what? Just not at the moment. Let me catch you a little bit later, or let's try tomorrow, or let's try reconnecting over here. I'm all in for that. So I think that's what I got for sex. This is non-sexual, but I wrote it down. And I guess we'll get to this later, but I'm a better man when I'm actually with two partners. But I don't know, that's not sexual at all. That's just me saying that, like, if there's anything left on my list, that's the last thing I left on my list. What do you got for your list of sex, and if there's anything left on your list as well? Because I want to come back to that last quote.
So I put cuddle with me in the middle of the day, just for some type of touch throughout the day.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we get so busy and it's like we running around, we haven't even seen each other, we barely talk to each other, and then there's the idea of sex in the evening. I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
Be romantic.
What does romance look like to you?
Romance is not just dates. We go places, but romance is being present.
Yeah.
For me. Opening my door, flowers.
You like flowers?
I do like flowers.
Really?
I don't know. Lately?
Yeah. New space in the house, so it's probably more light and air.
I don't know. Just putting something pretty somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. I never knew you liked, I knew you liked flowers. I didn't know that you actually were back on them, because at some point you were like, I think I was just bringing flowers home too much. Yeah. It was like getting bored.
So treat me brand new.
What does that mean? Treat you brand new? Don't
act like we've been together forever.
Right. Keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I say the same to that one? Can we have like lists that actually coincide with something like rip me out the boss stick and treat me brand new? But I do want to be treated brand new.
Okay.
Like, I think there's something about the flirtatiousness of new relationship energy that, of course, that is like so energetic. It's like new relationship energy, and then once it dies. But how do you continue to make sure you have that new relationship energy is important, because, you know, they can get easy to be like, I don't need to buy flowers because she didn't like flowers a couple years ago.
Exactly.
You know? I don't need to tell him he's right sometimes, because.
Okay, back to me. More than 2 days is too long without sex. And I crave a dominant partner. I
think a lot of this is just going to bring us back full circle. So I do acknowledge your need to cuddle, and for me to be romantic, and for me to make sure I'm taking lead, especially when it comes to certain sexual situations. I understand that. I have to make sure in those same situations that I feel loved and I feel wanted. And that there's often times where like initiation comes and says, hey, Joey, you've done enough cuddling for me. You were romantic and you led me, and I want you.
It'll be automatic.
Okay. I want that consistently. We have these peaks and valleys of certain times where we'll really be peaked and close, and we can't.
And it seems automatic.
And then we go into a valley, which I'm assuming everybody may struggle with. I know we do. There's times where we're like, man, we haven't connected in a couple of days. And it takes me back to the list to make sure, okay, if I now I'm looking at this, if I want on your list, if I go on your list, I'm like, I haven't had sex today. Okay, well, have I been cuddling with her? Have I been romantic?
Yes, I expect you to review this little book. I expect you to study it extensively.
I'm like, here's some flowers. Give me some pussy.
I expect you to know this little book inside and out.
Oh, I will. As your partner, that's my goal, is to know everything about you. Like, I want to continue growing and knowing as we get older. So there's nothing that I have a problem with here. I take this as a way to continue learning. If we stayed in the same situations and didn't do these tough conversations or acknowledge that we need to have some changes, then like we wouldn't be doing a service to ourselves or to people that listen or anything, because we wouldn't be real. Like, we struggle with some things that we talk about out loud, and then we acknowledge them out loud, but we fix them in private and come back out and say, hey, here's what we were able to accomplish. So that's why these are important. Anything else you got on your list?
No. Those were it. They were all important. They're all equally important as each other. I put a lot of thought into everything that I wrote down, and everything that I wrote down means a lot to me.
Yeah. I'm excited to actually see it on the paper in the book and be able to kind of just look at it consistently and here's the question though. When do we say to each other and say, hey, let me have the book back. I want to ask something. Is it too soon to do that? or do we wait a month after we've done the book?
No, I think that at any point, if something comes up that you feel is extremely necessary to be in there, then definitely add it. We can expand on like safety and security.
Yeah.
I don't think I really hit those marks because I think you do an amazing job at providing a secure environment, both with with everything.
I think just hearing you say that kind of thing reminds me that I'm not failing. I'm just learning and constantly growing.
Why would you think you were failing?
Well, again, when you don't understand that you don't get compliments often, I don't hear those kind words. So when you don't know where you stand often, you sometimes, maybe I'm failing this one. Maybe I had a bad season. And so now you're saying, hey, you didn't have a bad season. You actually had a pretty good season in what you've done. Now here's some more things that you want to do. Those are the things that I need to feel assured. And those are the times and moments like right there where I was just able to say, okay, it feels good to hear you say that about me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just making sure I didn't have anything else in here, but I really don't.
Yes. And I'm excited about this. And I think it's something positive. I hope that our viewers try this. If you try this, let us know how it goes for you.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely something beneficial for any relationship. And if you have multiple partners, hey, get multiple books.
So wait, if I have another partner, I can be like, hey, I need to borrow your book.
Fuck you.
What? I need to borrow it to make copies.
No. Okay. So you and your partner can do whatever you want to, but the effort that I put in to bring up this idea, to get you to do it with me and to go through all of this, I'm not sharing my book.
Okay. But
you can create your book with anyone you want to. You're free to create it, buy another book and create it with your partner.
So
my effort is there, and I'm not just handing over the book.
If I had another partner, you think it'd be a different language inside that book?
Yes, I do. I think that
same tabs, just different verbiage underneath the tabs.
Maybe even different tabs. Maybe you have different categories. Maybe there's different things that are important to you based on that partner.
Yeah, it's possible.
So I don't think it would need to be exactly the same. I don't think you could just take that book and give it to this person. Might look at it and be like, well,
we don't disagree.
This
like
isn't
that.
important and this doesn't pertain to us.
Yeah.
Type thing.
No, you're right. So the book stays with the partner.
Yes, please.
Fair enough. Like, don't say please. Like, I'll be out there like, look at this book I got. Look at my new book. You want my new partner? No, I'm not going to do that. I understand it. It's kind of like a journal internally for us to kind of like be able to collectively move and groove and understand things on levels that maybe, you may add something there and I'm like, oh, I didn't see this page. You just must have added this recently, and I can go in there and kind of see it.
Thank you to our viewers and listeners for vibing with us, tuning in.
Yeah.
I love this conversation. I love this activity.
Hey, thanks for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And connect with us on social media. You can find our links in the description.